Hey Dinks, welcome to SmileCon. We happen to be sitting right now with one of my favorite people, Gigi Meinecke, who's here as a delegate, right?
I am
at
indeed.
the conference. That's right, at SmileCon, it's not just all about education and the vendor hall, but there's also a fair amount of legislative issues going on with the ADA, which maybe we can talk a little bit about. And voting, election of officers is coinciding with all the education that's happening here. So it's a very busy meeting. Gigi and I happen to know each other quite well from our years of service with the Academy of General Dentistry. She's a phenomenal human, a great clinician and educator. Her primary scope of practice at this point is in the aesthetics field. We're going to talk a little bit more about her educational seminars. Gigi, thanks for hanging out with us.
I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
We're happy
It's-
to have
we
you.
are happy.
This is like so amazing, and it's finally to the point where you have gotten the props that you so well deserve. Like
that's really nice.
everybody talks about DINKS. Everyone talks about it, and it's so correct because you guys have such a diverse palette of what you bring to people, and it's so well informed. Man, kudos, you guys are great.
thank
That
you.
is
Appreciate
so
that.
nice
Thank
of you.
We don't
No.
get many
No,
kudos.
no, it's so
Right.
nice
Especially
of you to
because
say.
that's part of the program.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
so really
Yeah.
mostly it's negative stuff.
Yeah.
But what makes this work is connection, right? I got to know you through the AGD
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well, and I've taken your courses, which I mean,
Yeah.
you undersold when you said an amazing educator. But I have so much respect for you for everything that you've given to organize dentistry along the way. I loved working on council with you. It just absolutely excited to have you here. But I think everyone out there would love to learn. I know JB is going to talk to you about a lot of the legislative things that are going on, but I think everyone out there would love to learn what really was the impetus for you wanting to make the transition from more traditional dentistry into aesthetics, and how did that all happen?
Before we go too much further, could I just say something, Jeff? You've used the word impetus
I
twice.
just thought that.
Could you
I
change
just
that
thought
a
that.
little bit?
Yes.
Cut.
Yes.
Also, while watching him
We're
speak,
gonna change. We're gonna backtrack. Change the word impetus to what provoked you.
yeah,
Maybe for this
What?
round, and then we'll go back to
Oh,
impetus later.
Thesaurus.
Yeah.
Insight.
Sorry,
Insight.
Gigi. Please go ahead. You know how
also,
we are.
while
Yeah.
watching you speak, I thought
If
we
there's
should have been
too
doing
many
a
big
live
words, I
hands-on.
check out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chad.
I
Well,
check out.
How
Okay,
many
sorry.
Botox in
Hey,
your forehead?
Oh, yeah.
focus. Sorry, I
Okay.
unfocused. We're bringing us back
We're
together.
bringing it back
Okay.
in.
Gigi has the table.
All right.
Yes.
So what got me to move out of dentistry and into aesthetics? So it was building, and I hate to.
You're referring to the impetus.
Yes, the
Okay.
impetus. Yes.
Just so we're clear.
Just to make that clear. But I mean, everybody hates to do this when you really want to say that your spouse was right. Well, once again, Doug Meinecke was right. So years ago, Doug said, there's going to be a point at which this whole education thing takes over. And I didn't believe that. So fast forward a couple more years, and then all of a sudden, I'm doing more of the education. I get the at BU, the dental school, I'm their course director for facial injectables. So it was kind of moving in that direction. We even at one point thought of moving to Boston, and I was going to be a full-time faculty. So it was moving in that direction. But then the thing that really sealed the deal was during COVID, once again, Doug Meinecke, Dr. Prescient, said, another big word, sorry.
That is big.
Another, it's out there. Yeah.
Throw out impasse on that.
But Doug said to me, he said, I'm going to tell you something. I'll bet the first thing that comes back in your office, because he knew, Doug knows the numbers, and he knew what I was doing aesthetically versus dentistry. He said, I'm going to tell you that your aesthetic practice is going to come back first. And I was like, that is such bogus tripe. Because when you think about it, everybody's wearing a mask. Who's going to give a flying giraffe, why, So I was like, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. And I would go to the supermarket, and people, would be ducking around that knew me and say, is your aesthetic practice open? And I was like, this is kind of strange.
Yeah.
So that summer that we came back from COVID, I did more lips in July than I had done in the prior 8 months. everybody
Wow.
every day was coming in for lips, and I'm like, I'm kind of getting a little fried on lips here. It's
Yeah.
getting a little boring because it's not getting changed up. But it was phenomenal because that's the part that everybody was covering. But of course, Zoom changed everything. So at a certain point, with the staff problems that we were all having, because I had this beloved front desk person who was, I don't want to say how old she is in case she watches your podcast, because she might. At that time, she was older. She had some health considerations, so she couldn't come back. Like everybody else, I went through like 10 people at the front desk. I got so fried on that. I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm just going to do my aesthetic thing. Got rid of the dentistry, focused solely on the aesthetics, and never looked back. So that's how it all got going.
I love it. And so you teach, do you still teach at BU?
Yeah, I'm their
Okay.
director, so I'm kind of married to them.
And how many programs would you say that you do, around the U.S. throughout a year?
So I traveled 3 to 4 weeks out of every month.
Oh my gosh.
So, and one of those weeks is back to my office in Potomac to see my patients, because I sublet from a guy who's an orthodontist. He's only in the
Okay.
office 2 days a week, so it's great.
That's great. So you practice 1 week a month,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
and then that's
Unless there's a Botox emergency, because my
That's right.
patients know I will be there if they have an event.
I think a new tagline for you, because you said something a few minutes ago, but I think it should be Dr. Meinecke, lip service.
Lip service.
Lip service.
I had a
Dr.
program.
Meinecke's
I had a
lip
program
service.
called
Yeah.
Lip
It
Service.
has to be.
Yeah.
She said that there's a lot of lips. I'm like, lip service. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, giving you lip service.
Yeah.
And I've got to
1
interrupt
week a
us for 1 second, because really the only reason I'm here is I was told this would be a live demonstration on my experience lines, as I like to call
Oh,
it.
I didn't realize.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good
That's what-
moniker. I didn't know
Is
that
there not
one.
is there not going to be Botox in my forehead?
Didn't bring it in the bag. It has to be
So-
cold transported.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm just teasing, but honestly, if any of you are considering facial aesthetics, Gigi puts on a wonderful course. We did a head and neck dissection, cadaver dissection, and even if you end up not doing facial aesthetics, what a great refresher that was.
Thank you,
It was just I'm a nerd, so I just got so excited about that whole thing, and you just did a terrific job.
Thank
with that.
you. Yeah, that's one of my passions. I'm also the pro sector for BU, so I get to do that fairly frequently. And it is any dentist that has been out of school for a few years. It's
Could
because
use it.
and plus we
Right.
didn't get to really focus on like the muscles of facial expression all that much. It was all mastication.
So if somebody wants to take one of your courses, where are you going to be over the next few months?
So I will be at the Mid-Continental Dental Conference, MCDC, in Missouri.
In Missouri,
So I'll
okay.
be there in 2 weeks, and then I will be in at University Minnesota, and then I do residency programs. So I'll be at Delaware doing their residencies, and then I forget where I'm going right after that.
Are you doing
But
New
then
York?
I'm doing Yankee. No, I don't
Okay.
do New York.
Okay.
That's the one weekend I have off. That's Thanksgiving weekend,
Yeah.
and it's sacrosanct.
It's a
My
bit-
son's
it's a
home
bit
from
much,
school.
yeah.
Son's
Doug's
home from
weekend.
school.
Yes.
Doug's
Yeah.
week. Yeah.
Doug and the
So-
Sons weekend. Yes.
Yeah, and then I'll be at Yankee, Hinman, New Jersey, and on and on. So yeah.
Well, then let's do another interview at Hinman, because I'll be there too.
Oh, nice.
Bravo!
and,
yes.
and soon to be Myrtle Beach. We'll talk
Myrtle
about
Beach,
that.
yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
But also I'm going to be in South Carolina again.
For the South Carolina meeting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right, really quick, because it's the, sorry, Austin, I touched my mic. It's the real secret of my soul is the House of Delegates going on here at the ADA. A lot of buzz about California and their whole situation. If you're not familiar, there's been some discussion about them leaving the tri-party system with the ADA. What else is hot topics? What's going on? What should dentists know? What should they be
Oh God,
watching
you're
for?
kind of catching me off guard.
sorry.
So Yeah, because we haven't done it. We, you know,
You
we
haven't
did
done
our
your deep
we
dive
did
yet.
we did our caucus a couple of weeks ago, and then I've had events in between. So what do
Did
you
you see
think
Chad
is?
get uncomfortable when
Yeah.
she said caucus?
Yeah.
I think that one really
I'm
threw
sorry.
him off.
Doesn't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
C words.
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Okay.
Well,
Well, what do you think? Like,
I-
what are we gonna have to defend?
well, I think this CDA thing is an interesting.
Do you think it's going to blow up? Do you think? Because I've heard like conflicting things that most of the state is not behind it,
correct?
and then I heard, well, there's a bunch of people that are really pushing it, and people generally fall in line with those people. So I don't really know where
Well,
that's gonna.
What probably will be the difference maker will be what young dentists think.
Yeah.
Because if I think they have routinely been stepping out of organized dentistry and not
Yeah.
participating in that. And I do think a big driver of that is cost and ROI for their membership.
Yeah.
If the CDA positions it at such a discounted value that they could still be a part of something that has a bit of weight because if it's just general size
Yeah.
membership base, I think it's an interesting business model. I don't know if it'll take hold. And, you hate to see these things kind of crumble apart, but I do think if they are successful at that, other states, particularly
Oh, yeah.
ones that have fallen out of line with the general ADA's.
But don't you think,
vision.
and I'm sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
on this, but don't you think that there's a lot of other entities now that are really vying for
Yeah.
that
There's too much
population of
diversion
of
young
attention.
dentists?
Yeah.
So I don't know how well that holds because they've really not had a strong hold on that population graduating dental school as it is. So,
Correct.
and I think that there's a lot of other things out there that might
I
catch their
agree.
attention
I
first.
But
agree.
I do think, though, that if California were to do this, I think you're starting to see the doors starting to fall off.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
I really
Yeah.
believe that they're just too big. It's really something that we're all going to have to grapple with, and I'd love to be around in 100 years to see how this all
Shakes
works out,
Yeah.
because we're going through some.
And the
like,
great thing about
amazing
what
change.
you do is you will look exactly the same,
I
and
will,
hopefully you will
I
make
will,
me
like,
look
if you
exactly
look at my
the same.
DNA,
Yeah.
it's 50% Botox and 30% HA filler. So I
Yeah.
will be.
You'll
Like
be
they
here.
don't have to embalm
She'll
me. I'll
still
be,
be here.
I'll
Hit
be
hit
so
me up,
preserved.
Gigi. Better living
Yeah.
through chemistry. Absolutely.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so if they want to find more courses, where do they go to get more information?
Alrighty, www.faces.llc, and that is where
website?
that's
Yeah.
my website, and we put up a lot of our events that are coming up, and it's also, if you have any questions, you can go to admin@faces.llc, and usually my staff can say something about
Awesome.
where we're going to be and where we're headed. But thank you so much
Thank
for having
you,
me, and just
Gigi.
thank you
fun.
guys so much for what you're doing, because you are a national treasure, and I mean that very
is
sincerely.
Really sweet.
I'm just, it's so great to tune in
Wait,
and,
look,
and
this
see
is
what's
Mount
going
Rushmore.
on.
Yeah, don't,
The new
Mount
don't,
Rushmore.
don't stop. Yeah.
No, gotta stop. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And as we close this, I'm going to leave you with a quote from Dolly Parton. If you see someone without a smile, just give them one of yours. Or you know what? Have Gigi provide some lip service. There you go.
There you go.
Thanks, folks.
Bye, y'all.